Okay, since there's not many videos online about this, I figured I would try and help here. It's my first video because it's the first upgrade I'm actually doing to the ST, and that's installing a new sub and amp. I've already upgraded the door speakers because if you didn't know, this sound system does suck. I didn't think to make a video about the speakers, but there are plenty out there for the door speakers. Pretty easy. You gotta take off the door panel to get to the speakers, and the only pain in the ass part about it is you have to use the stock mounting for the Sony speakers that are in there. Pretty easy. I just ground them off and then attached the new speaker to the stock mounting and then soldered a wire to connect it. It took maybe an hour for both doors once you get the hang of it. But this is for the sub. Running the power line through your sub and finding a place to come through the firewall is always a pain in the ass, and especially in these new cores. So what I did was take off the glove box. Also a bit of a pain in the ass if you don't know what you're doing here. I had to look up on many forums just to find out. So if you go to do that, you have to take off this side panel here, and then there's a screw here, and it's all, I think, T25 they are. So there's a screw there. There's one up underneath. You have to get underneath there. A little bit harder to do, so I don't know if you'll be able to see it. It's somewhere in here. Like I said, I don't know if the camera's actually seeing it. One on this side, and then there's two. One, two when you open your glove box. And then you just lift up, and then it'll start to pop out. You have to take out this, which is not that hard to do either. I couldn't get the clip itself off while the door was on, so I'm about to do that now. Get that clip out, and then we'll move on from there. Alright, I got that clip off. Like I said, you can do it with the door on. My hands are a little bit bigger, so it's harder for me because you got to push in on that little tab, if you could see it, to get it out. Just a lot easier to do for me when the door was off. I got the door off. Now there is a garment directly back here. It's running straight through the firewall. What I'm going to do is cut a hole in the garment, just a slight hole, and I'll see if I can push it down. See how you can see through there, see the daylight? So you'll feel the rubber. I'm going to cut a slight hole and run the power cord up through there to power the amp. This is the first step in doing this. So let me get the hole in there, and then we'll see where we go from there. So I got the hole through, but I'm having a little bit of trouble here getting the wire actually through the rubber. So I'm using a little trick here. I don't know if it's going to work. What I did was get a long pair of needle nose pliers, put those through the hole, and then I just got this stupid little knife holding it open on the outside. So my plan is now to go around and you're not going to be able to see back here, so I could feel the pliers coming out this side. I'm going to stick the wire on those pliers just so I can get a grip of them, and then pull them through with the needle nose on the opposite side, see if that works for me. Alright, let's see if this works. I got the wire clamped on the other side. Let's see if I put a little pressure, pull through, if I can get that wire through this. And there you go. Got the power wire coming through. It's a bit of a pain in the ass, but we did it. So let's move on. Alright, now that we have that wire pulled through, as you can see, I took the engine cover off. Don't know how long that's been in there. Or that. Great. Okay. What I did was put a little zip tie, but didn't tighten it all the way, just to hold the wire in place with I don't know, some bracket. Honest to God, I don't know what it is. Windshield wiper or something back here. A little hole up, and I just ripped it off. But either way, that's what I'm going to do there. Leave enough slack. And leave it loose, that way when I get it to the back, run it to the back, then I'll worry about hooking it to the battery. So coming back around, took off the weather stripping which is real easy, pulls right up. And then you take off panel here, as you can see, it exposes your carpet. Now, what I'm going to do, if you can see, the original wiring to the stock amp and everything is coming through there. So I'm going to run that power up here. I'm going to bring it down behind the glove box, through under the carpet, and run it all the way back. So once I get done with that and get it down, ran through the back, then we'll move up to the front and start hooking the power up. Okay, as you can see, the power cord, I got it running behind the carpet. Took the weather stripping and the panels off, running all the way down. Came up through this middle panel, pops right off with 2 clips. If you can see there, see the power, excuse me, it's like 100 degrees out. The power wire runs there. Brought it through the back, popped underneath the carpet here in the back seat. Now, this panel, once you take the weather stripping off the back door, this panel pops off as well. Has a little clip that goes into this hole here, and it'll pop out. I ran it through there. And then, okay, as you can see, I popped the seat up, came up through the carpet, ran it underneath the seat all the way back, coming out there through the hatch. So it gives me a nice clean setup so there's no wires exposed. I mean, if you wanted to, it'd probably be a lot easier if you wanted to run it through the car, but I don't want anything exposed. I don't like really trying to half-ass things. And honestly, this is only like my 2nd time doing this in my life, so it's a learning experience for me, along with this whole car will be. Like I said, this is the first upgrade I'm doing to it. Everything else, you know, I know the basic about cars. I know how to change my brakes, rotors, change the oil, but I never really got into tuning a car before. I've bought fast cars, I've wrecked fast cars, but I've never actually put the work into it. If I had anything done to them, I took them to the garage. So this will be a learning experience for me. Lord knows in the comments if I'm doing something wrong, hey, let me know. That's how I learn. I'm just trying to help people out here with this, because it was hard as hell for me to find instructions on how to do this. So hopefully I do it right and this video can help some people. So what I'm going to do is hook my power cord up, get the wires, the power hooked up to the amp, and then we'll move on to the line out converter, or the LOC. And I'm doing that because I am not taking the factory amp off. The factory amp is actually, because of the sink and whatnot that runs through it, if I would remove that and put a 4-channel amp in, honest to God, I don't know enough. So I would lose my sink and everything else that's hooked through the stereo. So what we're going to be hooking up is, like I said, I already upgraded the front door speakers. So I got a Kicker 10 with a Kicker 600 watt amp. It's a 2-channel amp since I'm leaving the original amp in it. And then we're going to use the LOC from the old sub wire, from the old speaker to the, or the old wire to the, excuse me, the wire to the old sub will go into this with the RCAs directly to the amp. And then my remote start, I'm not real sure how I'm going to do that yet. I'll figure it out before we're the end of the video. And what we should have is this amp running this speaker with the LOC off the original sub speaker wire. Alright, so let's hook up the glove, or excuse me, let's hook up the power and see if I can at least get that done. Alright, now that we have the back and the LOC connected, I got my negative connected. You can see it going from the terminal, ran it here, which is actually just a ground. Positive still unconnected. Just trying to get some stuff squared away before I get the power actually going. What I forgot to get is a fuse tap, so I'm going to head out here in a second and go get one. And then I'm going to use my remote shut-off wire, and I'm going to go underneath the dash with the fuse tap and there's a fuse in here, F85, which is 7.5 fuse, and I'm going to tap into that, and I guess that is going to work. So let me go get the fuse tap, and then move on from there, run the remote wire, get the speakers hooked up, put everything back on, and then we should be good to go. If it works, awesome. If not, I'll still record it, see what the hell I did wrong, and we'll fix it and go from there. Okay, had to make a quick run to Advanced Auto, and I hate that store, but I needed this, and this is a fuse tap, or add a circuit holder as they call it. Now I'm going to need that for my reverse, or excuse me, my remote turn off, remote turn on for the amp. So what I'm going to do is install it back here on the F85, which is a 7.5 fuse, and then run it the same way I ran my power wire up under the carpet, get it to the amp. Then we'll hook up the power on the battery, which you can see, as I had to run, I had to zip tie it to things so I didn't have it flapping around in there, and then we should be good to go. Let me run this, get this hooked up, and then we'll see what happens. Okay, we got the fuse tap in. Let's see if you can see that. I got a flashlight or something back here, and as you can see, got it run. So I'm going to run this wire same place I ran the power wire, up behind here, down through behind the carpet, up through here, and then get it hooked to the amp, and then we'll go from there. Alright, got the remote shut off start hooked up, ran the same way I ran my power cable. You can kind of see it there. So I put the panel back on, you won't be able to. Through the back seat, as I said before, and there you go, running to the amp. And I took excess of the negative from the battery, and I'm using it as a ground for the amp itself as well, which I said is all going to go to this, which, son of a bitch, I lost a bolt somewhere, so now I'm going to have to wrap it and tape it on there. I guess unless I could think of something else, but that's pretty much my idea right now. We'll see how it works, and we'll get the speaker hooked up. Alright, as you can see, it's actually night out now. This took me a lot longer than I thought. Ran into a hiccup, but I got the speaker working. The only thing is, for some reason, when I go through the sync to play Bluetooth, when you do the Bluetooth audio, it works and then it shut off, so I gotta look into what's going on there. But real quick, I wanted to share with you guys what I did, because I just couldn't get it to work. So what happened was, I had the LOC converter, or excuse me, the LOC, the line output converter, wired a little wrong. What I did wrong was the stock subwoofer comes like this, and it's spliced off. So these would have been the wires that came from the amp. There's purple, yellow, green and gray, or excuse me, green and purple, and gray, I think. And then they're spliced down to these wires, which are blue and white, white and black, and then two solid whites, I believe. So I was using those, and that just wasn't working, so I cut it off there. So what you're going to want to do is, okay, let's see here. Hard to see with this light out here, guys. So when you're hooking up this LOC, so I have the gray on this LOC is the right. So I have my purple wire, which is the sub 1 positive, and that's hooked up to my right positive. And then the yellow, which is the sub 1 negative, hooked up to my right negative. And then let's see here, you have the green and violet, which is your sub 2 positive, and that's hooked up to my left positive. And then the gray, which is the sub 2 negative, that's hooked up to my left negative. And then, like I said, I have them both grounded out, which you probably can't really see too well. Straight to that screw. It's taped on. I got to do something better. Like I said, I lost the bolt earlier, so I just got to get a new bolt. Also, not thinking, when I did the fuse tap, I only stuck one fuse in, so the amp was getting power, but my moonroof wasn't. So I stuck another fuse in there, and now it's working just fine. And like I said, it sounds great now. I really hope it's helped somebody. It's just, I couldn't find anything on it, and like I said, this is only my second time doing it, and Lord knows I'm not an expert. Shit, I'm not even good at it, but it is working. So I hope, like I said, I had a hell of a time finding out how to hook this up, and it sounds really good right now. I gotta get this shit cleaned up. I still have my glove box out. It's about 1 a.m. right now, and I gotta go to work tomorrow, so I'll just do that before work tomorrow, maybe even after work. Alright, it's the next day. I got everything back together, everything wired up, everything's working. Sounds great. So this is what it looks like from the engine compartment. There's the power wire. You can see that running back there. All the way to the battery. Battery cover's on. You don't see anything there. This is the front where I had it. I had the fuse tap and the power coming through. And as you can see, nothing. You can't see anything at all. Tucked in real nice. Got everything back on. The back, the same thing, and I apologize, it's a little dirty in here. And this is what it looks like on the back. It's not the best, and I need to work up, maybe clean this up a little bit with the wires. But this is what it ended up looking like. Like I said, it sounds great. You know, if you understood my goals, I didn't want this system that was going to blow my eardrums out. But what it did do was give me a nice sound. Definitely improved on the bass. And it's real crisp. And I know that it wasn't the best install video. But you know, it was only my second time. I think it ended up looking pretty good. I could have did some things better, definitely could have went quicker, but I had some trouble finding, you know, things online, any videos doing this with the head unit, the stock head unit, the stock amp. And I hope this actually helps somebody out, at least learn from my mistakes. Again, this is, you know, it's going to be a new channel. I'm going to try to upgrade this car as much as possible and do as much as I can by myself. Like I said before, I know the basics. You know, I know how to change rotors, brakes, how to change my oil, things of that nature, but I've never actually tuned a car myself, so this will be a first thing. Honestly, after I'm done with this, I'd probably like to build a sleeper. You know, I'm in a position where I can do that now with my life, and it's just something I've always wanted to do. So, you know, if I make a mistake, like I said, let me know in the comments. But if you liked it or it helped you out, give me a like. If not, till the next video, and be cool.